May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Booth,
Present.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Worth is absent with notice. Vice Chair Beamsdorfer,
Here.
Chair Lemke.
Present. Thank you. Commissioner Hill, the invocation and flag salute, please.
First. Lord, we ask you that you bless this meeting here tonight and give us the wisdom to make the most informed decisions we can for this City Planning Commission meeting. Amen. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Agenda 4A is the approval of the minutes for the meeting of May 2nd, 2023.
I'd like to make a recommendation to approve the minutes of the planning commission meeting May 2nd, 2023.
And I second. Oh, there we go.
And that passes unanimously 4-0. Number 5, public comment period. Agenda item number 5 is a public comment period for items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public present that would like to comment on an item not on the agenda? Are there any members of the public joining via teleconference or Zoom that would like to comment? Ms. Hernandez.
I don't show anyone online requesting to speak, and I did not receive any e-comments.
Wonderful, thank you. Item number 6A is for conditional use permit 22-005 and public convenience or necessity 23-001 for MMD Fuel Inc. Assistant Planner Soledad.
Good evening, Chair Lemke, commissioners, and members of the public and staff. I'd like to present conditional use permit 22-005 and public convenience or necessity 23-001. The applicant is MMD Fuel. Property and business owner is MMD Fuel. The location is 1005 West Florida Avenue on 0.60 of an acre. The applicant is seeking approval of a conditional use permit, and a determination of public convenience or necessity will be served for the off sale of beer and wine, which is a type 20 at an existing gas station with an 800 square foot convenience store. The proposed hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and closing at 9 p.m. on Sunday. Here we can see that the general plan is neighborhood commercial, and the zoning is also neighborhood commercial. Here we have an aerial view of the site. It's on the southwest corner of Western Avenue and Florida Avenue. And pursuant section 90-42, the Planning Commission is responsible to review and approve conditional use permits. And pursuant section 90-90C, a conditional use permit is required for the sale of alcoholic beverages for off-site consumption. And pursuant section 90-90H, when the California Department of Alcoholic Beverages Control requests that the city make a determination of public convenience or necessity will be served, the PCN shall be made by the Planning Commission and may consult the chief of police in making its determination. For background, the site was approved for changes to an existing ABC Type 20 off-sale license in 2017 with CUP 17-001. Due to fire in 2020, the gas station was inoperable and the license expired. New owners have now must obtain approval from the planning commission for the type 20 off-sale beer and wine. And census tract 434.05, where this location is located, is over-concentrated. The approved licenses are 2 off-sale, and presently there are 4. ABC requires a determination of public convenience or necessity when a necessity will be served by approving this type 20 off-sale license. The Hemet Police Department reviewed the proposal and did not object to the public convenience or necessity determination. It recommended condition number 17 to be added, that includes no sale of beer or malt beverages in single can or bottles. And the applicant submitted a crime prevention plan addressing employee training, installation of video equipment and alarm system, lighting, loitering, unobstructed lines of sight, litter, no sale of drug paraphernalia, adult-oriented magazines or material is prohibited. On March 14th of 2023, the City Council approved ordinance 2009. This ordinance provides for the development and implementation of an education and outreach program to educate deemed approved alcohol and tobacco retail uses to operate as a good neighbor. It also provides for performance standards for businesses engaged in alcohol and tobacco sales. And it also provides for administration hearing and penalties for violations of performance standards. And here we can see what those performance standards include. They include public consumption, open containers, loitering, lighting, security and surveillance, graffiti, display and signs, litter, ABC training, and also the Planning Commission may impose additional reasonable conditions to ensure that it operates in a manner that provides adequate protection to the public health, safety, and general welfare. Staff did a site inspection of the site and found that the parking lot was deteriorated and missing surface material. The landscape was in need of maintenance and enhanced vegetation. It also did not had a refuse container that was not screened and had existing chain link fence which detracted from the rebranded operation. Conditions of approval were added to require the applicant to bring the parking lot to city standards. To improve the landscaping, to install a trash enclosure per city standards, remove the chain link fence, all within 6 months of approval of the CUP. In conclusion, staff believes that the convenience store would have continued to operate with the type 20 license had it not been for the fire damage that deemed the store inoperable. The gas station provides the convenience to patrons stopping for gasoline. The C-store provides dairy products, chips, prepared food, baked goods, soft drinks, and other non-alcoholic beverages. PD does not object to approving this type 20 with the addition of a condition 17. And the operation will be subject to section 9060 and 9090 of the Hemet Municipal Code regarding the sale of alcohol and tobacco. And also conditions of approval address non-conforming development standards, which will bring the site to the minimum requirement with a trash enclosure, parking lot, and landscape standards. The conditional use permit findings can be made per the staff report. Separation standards can be met per alcohol sales findings, and the PCN findings can be met with added conditions of approval. This project is exempt from CEQA under CEQA guidelines section 15301 class 1, which are existing facilities, and section 15061, which is an exemption for activities that can be seen with certainty to have no possibility of causing a significant effect on the environment. Property owners and property occupants located within a 500-foot radius of the project were notified of the public hearing on May 4th, 2023, and in addition to the public notice published in the Press Enterprise. As of writing of this report, staff has not received any public correspondence regarding this item. It is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission take the following action. Adopt Planning Commission Resolution approving conditional use permit 22-005, subject to conditions of approval, and make a determination of public convenience or necessity. And direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk for CEQA purposes. This concludes my presentation. The applicant, Michael, is available via Zoom, and he is here to answer any questions, and he also has some comments.
Okay, thank you. Before we do open the hearing, does the commissioners have any questions for staff at this time?
I do. Is condition 17 something we've imposed on other businesses?
Yes,
So it's not unique in this situation?
yes, that's
And
correct.
And condition 17, if I understand correctly, literally means the banning of like single cans of alcohol being sold. Is it a pretty common thing, or is it a pretty rare thing that we impose on small businesses and gas stations?
From what I recall in our previous applications, we've required that for the past at least 3 applications.
That's correct.
You good? I think-
Commissioner Hill?
Yeah, I do have a few questions. Thank you. Soledad, thank you for that presentation. So what does it mean when they say that we're overprescribed for that particular area for type 20 licenses? What's the meaning behind that over?
The California Department of Alcohol Beverage Control sets the number of allowed, in this case, off-sale licenses based on population. This census tract is allowed 2, that is 1,740 in population gets 1 license. And there's a little over 5,000 in the census tract. So it comes out to a little bit over 2, if you do the math.
Mm.
This census tract has 4 already. So asking for this one makes 5. So it's deemed over concentrated because of those numbers.
And we see no problem with that. I mean, if it's overprescribed, why are we trying to put another one in there? I know the PD has looked at it and said that they're fine with it, but I mean, from a holistic point of view for the city, why would we do this?
Are looking at the application, there was one there already, and it would have more than likely continued had it not been for the fire
Mhm.
that caused it to expire. This applicant is just wanting to get what it had before, which is a type 20, which is beer and wine. And the PD did not feel at this time that there was too many calls to that location as it stood the last year and 4 months. And that was a recommendation, and we took their recommendation in consideration when making the staff report.
All right. So if this were to be turned down, well, let me back up a little bit. So if we approve this, there's an educational program that goes along with this, correct?
Correct.
If it gets shot down, do they still have to go through that educational program?
They no longer have an alcohol license. They're not deemed to have one.
Okay. Interesting.
then we're undersaturated?
Pardon?
At that point in time, this portion of the city would be undersaturated?
No, it's still over concentrated.
Uh,
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
It seems like the building burned down in 2020, correct? Was it around then? And then the police report, they're saying Hemet Police Department from January 18th to 2022 to April 2023, there was only 48 quality of life calls. I imagine some of those numbers because the place was vacant and nobody's there, so there's probably transients on that empty property. But I don't see, the only question I have is what is the quality of life? What's the definition of quality of life call? Just a usual person, they go check on them, kind of what's the quality of life?
Just the calls that they deal with on a regular basis that have to do with public intoxication, fights, vandalism, trespassing.
And the only places, the ABC, the only thing I can think of is they're including probably the Walmart, correct?
It is Chips Liquor, Walgreens, Shell, and Lions Market, Lions Convenience
Okay.
Store.
That's on a different area.
The Walmart is in another census tract.
All right, we'll now open the public hearing. Are there members online or public that would like to comment on this item?
I don't show anyone requesting to speak, and I did not receive any e-comments. Correction, I do have the applicant, Michael Ramirez, requesting to speak.
Wonderful.
Good evening, commissioners. I want to apologize for not being there in person. I live out in Monterey Park, California, and today on my way out there, my thermostat went out. So I ended up on the freeway and had to get towed over to a repair shop. So I greatly apologize for not being there in person. I want to just take a moment to remind the commissioners that our primary business is fuel sales. And this is just a convenience and necessity that, you know, we provide our customers when they're stopping in. Our hours are going to be from 6 to 10 p.m. So we'll be dealing with the people going to work and also coming home at a decent hour, and then we close down by 10 p.m. The operators of this facility have a number of other locations, and they've been operating in the good graces of the state ABC board for many, many years. And the ABC is ready to approve this with your participation in the approval of the PCN. And I'm hoping that you can grant us this not renewal, but reinstatement, if you will, of an existing license that was there for this business before. And with the additional conditions that are being attached, and also with the training, with our security systems that we'll be more than happy to share with the Hemet Police Department, state-of-the-art type of cameras, I think we're going to be adding something more to the community. I understand there's a number of vacant lots around the property, but again, having us there, walking the property, taking care of it, and being a better neighbor, you know, it's something that we can bring to the community to kind of add that element to it. And if there's any other questions, you know, I'd be more than happy to try to address them.
Commissioners, did you have any questions for Mr. Ramirez?
My only question is this condition 17. Is that something that you are you're okay with moving forward?
Yes, we can address that insofar as that a number of other locations, the ABC board, those are that's a typical requirement in order to cut down on that type of public drunkenness. They require the sale of multiple containers at one time. And that's something that, you know, we feel comfortable with, and we believe also assists in not having a lot of vagrancy and, you know, people just drinking around the property because they have one bottle. So that's not a problem. We fully support it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
This is Dana. Is the training program a recurring thing, or is this just a one-off training thing?
We're going to undertake whatever the Hemet Municipal Code requires and entails, and then we will incorporate that into our employee training as well. So I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not familiar with what that training program looks like from the Hemet Municipal Code, but as soon as we get it, we're able to go through it. We will incorporate it, and any new employees coming in will be required to take that training as well.
Oh, maybe staff can answer that.
Yeah, so the owner, the operator, shall require the ABC training for all employees, who sell alcoholic beverages within 30 days after the commencement of alcohol sales. And all new employees thereafter shall be trained within 30 days of the date of their employment.
All right, so once trained, that's it. And any new employee, they get trained, and then that's it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this?
I don't show anyone else online requesting to speak.
No other questions or comments? That will
Correction,
close.
I do have a
Okay,
additional person. Frederick?
Frederick, did you want to speak on this item?
Talking on mute.
He's unmuted. Frederick, you can begin.
I'm not seeing any additional communication. on
Frederick, if
items.
you have an auditory problem, an audio problem, can you chat in the box to let us know so we can wait, or do we need to continue? Sometimes it's an audio issue and they can put their concern in the chat box or comment, I mean.
I do show him unmuted. I don't see any correspondence. IT has confirmed that our systems are working fine.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, Frederick, we're going to move on. And with that, I can close this public hearing. Do I hear a motion?
Well, I'd like to discuss this for a minute.
Okay,
I mean, I understand they had this before the place burned down, they lost their license. You know, 5 in this area is saturated to the point beyond 2, which is the limit. I'm concerned about that. I mean, where do you stop? Right.
I agree with you. And I had concerns too. I think where I do feel that it helps is that they're closed at 10. Because a lot of times, like, there's a bar on the other side, you know, west of that that's open. We have a restaurant a couple doors down that voiced some concerns because their parking lot gets used as party grounds and even facilities sometimes, you know, with too much alcohol or people loitering. And but I think, you know, by them closing at 10 p.m. helps a lot compared to staying open till or serving till the cutoff time of 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I do like is, I guess City Council passed this ordinance that they've got to go through this educational program and put security cameras in. So I like that.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's very beneficial. So, you know, I'm kind of weighing, you know, the good and the bad here.
I'm with you. The security, the times, and I think combined, we have to support local business. We have to make sure that it really is a convenience. Can't imagine it's a necessity, but convenience for those going to work, or home. So, I think with the security detail and the 10 PM closing,
Yeah.
I feel like that's how we can support this business. I don't know that I would feel the same if it was open to later.
Okay.
I would have to agree. I believe, since for 2020, if it wasn't a fire, it would still be open. It would still be an active place. So, and it's existing. I think the training's a good idea, for every employee going in there. I do agree with both of you. I think the 10 PM is a great thing because it is an earlier hour to close down. So there is no midnight runs and that kind of an attraction is going to create. And plus having that business open in that corner with cameras and lights, and it's a great little corner to keep active, and we definitely welcome that. I have nothing against it. I think it's something that if it was a new location, a new address, that's something we could be talking about. But I think if it wasn't for a fire, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And they've had multiple locations too. I looked in the company. I don't know how many locations you have, but there's other gas stations that they own. So it's just not a privately owned place. So a little more trust in that since they own multiple locations. So I'm for it. I don't see a big problem. I think the 48 quality of life calls will go down if the place is occupied by a business. So
What do you think about the oversaturation?
I think every area is going to be oversaturated to a degree. I mean, we've had that issues on several meetings we've had before. We've had that oversaturation debate. And, my question is how other cities handle it. We look at like the wineries and Temecula, and that's definitely oversaturated. But, it's based on how the city controls it as well and how they approve it, even though ABC doesn't necessarily condone it, approve it. I think oversaturation is not that big of an issue for the demographics that we're in
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think oversaturation is a problem. You can walk 15 steps and go to another store and grab another one.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it, but
And they have liquor stores to go walk to that have a bigger variety there. They're just getting gas and
totally.
going home with a drink. Different kind of clientele. I don't have an issue with it. I think it's, again, if it wasn't for the fire, we wouldn't be
Right.
having this conversation. 'Cause
100%.
it's been there for years. And I think we should give them a chance.
Ready?
Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the planning commission resolution approving CUP 22-005, subject to conditions of approval, exhibit 1A, and to make determination of public convenience for necessities, and to direct staff to file notice of exemption with the county clerk for CEQA purposes.
I'll second.
And that passes 4-0.
Only thing I could say is, when were they gonna have a handbook about the training policy?
We already closed, so you can't, sorry.
Should have that ready.
Sorry about that. Excuse me. Item number 7A, city attorney reports.
Nothing to report.
Item 7B, community development reports. Principal Planner Monique.
Nothing to report.
Item 7C, future agenda items, Principal Planner Monique.
Coming before you, at our next, planning commission meeting will be an extension of time for a tentative track map, that was approved, Rancho Diamante. Also, in the near future, you will also see a tentative parcel map for lot split. And also, due to, review of conditions of approval from engineering, we had to, extend the time for JD Fields development, but it'll be coming, to you in, approximately June, July. And this concludes my
Thank
report.
you. Item 7D, Planning Commissioner reports.
Chair Lemke,
Nothing to report.
Vice Chair Beamsterfer,
Just those traffic lights on Stetson. Other than that, nothing else to report.
so that is for the traffic lights on Stetson and Buena Vista.
From State to Buena Vista, those intersections.
Commissioner Hill,
Yeah, since we went to the Planning Commissioners Academy, I've been mulling over some things, and one of the items that I've noticed in that going to that academy is how important it is for the Planning Commission to be, I guess, plugged in and understand the general plan better and in some other plans. But basically, it all starts with the general plan. And I would like to see maybe a special meeting or a meeting when we don't have an agenda. Instead of canceling the meeting, maybe we hold the meeting and get a briefing on what the general plan is and how it's looking for the future. So now that I've gone to this commission meeting and did a deeper dive into what this is all about, I think I'm more informed on what kind of questions to ask and what to look for going forward. So I think another educational meeting, if you will, on the general plan for the Planning Commission, I think is warranted. I don't know how you guys feel, but
More information is always better.
yeah. And I don't know if that's a special meeting or we set aside a portion of this meeting for that. And then maybe some other, I'm sure that will lead to other questions on other types of plans.
absolutely. We could absolutely have a workshop.
Okay, a workshop. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Booth,
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Also, I just want to add, the general plan is available on the city's website as well, right?
yes,
So it's very thick, it's
Yeah.
ginormous, but if you take a section and familiarize yourself with it, as part of it, that could help as well.
I know.
It's a lot of information.
Hoping that you guys can boil it down into an executive summary.
The 10 pages.
Anything else? Last chance?